Hickory Stick back with you again. Been a little while since we made the video, and as a matter of fact, this is my fourth attempt to make this video. The last three times, it has been a struggle between the first mid time I tried to make it, the content was just crap. I tried to put way too much into it, and it was just a convoluted mess, so I scrapped that one. The next two times, I've struggled with equipment problems, trying to get it fixed and trying to get things set up because I got a camera, okay? Little Sony Handycam, and belongs to my wife. And she said she's had it probably 10 years nearly. Well, I decided I'm going to try to use this thing to film with, so I was able to get the battery. I went and bought a little battery charger for it. I was able to get the battery charged and got it working. The little camera works great. There's only one problem with the darn thing, and that is the picture's terrible. Even telling it to film HD, the picture's terrible. It's such an old camera that it's just with modern screens on computers and everything, the dang thing, you can just see every little grain in the camera. So, needless to say, I'm back filming on my cell phone like old times because I have not had the money to drop on a new camera because I didn't realize how expensive cameras were until I started looking at them. So, we are going to use this camera for our range sessions. Even though it does not have the greatest video, we're going to use it for range sessions. And the reason why we're going to use it for range sessions is we got us a chronograph. Picked up the Caldwell G2 chronograph. I really like it. I've used it some already. I've been doing some testing with it, setting everything up. I really like it. The thing, it works great. And the point in using this camera on range sessions is because the G2 is Bluetooth and has a really nice app that goes with my phone. It'll calculate standard deviation for us. It'll calculate average velocities. It's really nice. I like it. So we're going to be using this from now on to figure our velocities as well as our accuracy. So it's like we've moved up into the big boy realm on our channel here. Another thing that I have picked up over the course of the last few months is I finally went out and got a turret press. Yay for me. Look at there. So now that I've got this thing, I don't know, I should have bought a turret press sooner. I love this thing. Don't have anything bad to say about this press. This is the Lyman Brass Smith 8. Which basically is a clone of the Redding T7. I was going to get the Redding T7, and I know you've heard me talk about it before. But you know what? The Redding T7 is close to $400. I paid $179 for this thing. And to be perfectly honest with you, I've never owned a T7, and I've never loaded on a T7, but I just don't see how it could be any better than this press right here. This is a really nice press. I'm very pleased with it. It's good, heavy, solid, really nice press. Picked it up on a Black Friday sale on Midway, and great. The one thing that I will say about it is, I don't know if they powder coated it or if they just painted it with some sort of enamel, but they didn't do that great of a job. It's got some thin spots. It's got some nicks and dings on it. It came to me like that, brand new in the box. So other than a little bit of issue with the finish not being perfection, I mean, the RCBS, though, our good old faithful rock chucker, that finish on that thing was perfect. So it's got some finish issues, like right down here. But besides that, functionality-wise, the thing is awesome. Great. There's no play in it. I've loaded quite a good bit of rounds on it so far. I've had it about a little over a month. Well, yeah, probably about a month now. I've loaded quite a few rounds on it, probably 150 or so. So I have not seen any issues with repeatability in the bullet seating. As you see, I got bullet seaters all in it. Haven't seen any issues with it. Now, I will say this much for it. The one worry that I would have with it would be it wearing and starting to flex, but that would be a worry for me with any turret press, including the Redding if I bought it. So what I've been doing is I have been sizing, depriming, any high stress operation I've been doing on our good old faithful rock chucker, and just been doing bullet seating and crimping on this one, which is what I intend to continue to do, and it's working great for me so far. The one complaint that people have had that I saw when I was researching this press is the priming system. It's got a priming system that bolts on here, and you have to pull back the lever to catch a primer, and the primer tube sticks right up here in front of the press, and you pull it back, and you push it in, and you push it down, pull it back out. A lot of people complain about that. Well, y'all know me watching my channel. I don't prime on the press, so that doesn't make any difference to me. I haven't even, the priming system for this thing is still in pieces in a drawer beside my reload bench here. I haven't even assembled it because I don't prime on the press, and I'm not going to prime on the press. I like to hand prime, so it doesn't make any difference to me. Another thing that has happened during this holiday season is I've got one heck of a deal on a scope. Black Friday on Midway, Vortex Viper, 6 to 24 by 50, Viper HS, side parallax, $379 on Midway. Crap ton of money to pay for a scope for me. I mean, y'all know me, I fuss about buying expensive scopes. I bought a couple of $200 scopes. That's about as far as I'm going to stretch it. Well, I went ahead and stretched it a little farther to get this one because I wanted a 24 power scope. And the Crossfire, Vortex makes a Crossfire in 24 power, which would be a perfectly fine scope for me, I'm sure. They also make a Diamondback in a 24 power, which was the one I was looking at because I wanted the side parallax. Well, the Diamondback that I was looking at had it, but that one was like $350. Then they put this one on sale for $379 with a free set of Vortex scope mounts. So I went ahead, spent the $379. I had the money. I had got a little bonus money from work. So I had the money, went ahead and spent $379, bought the scope. I actually bought the scope and the press at the same time. Ordered them, got it. I've already got it sighted in. It's great. I love it. One thing I will say, piece of advice for anybody that may have a Tikka and may buy one of these, just so happen, is I ordered medium height scope rings because the Crossfire, the 6 to 18 by 44 Crossfire, was real tight up against the barrel with the low mount cheap scope rings that I had. Well, I was thinking, okay, well, a 50 millimeter may touch the barrel, so I'm going to go ahead and order mediums. Well, it looks like there's so much space between the barrel, I could have got away with low mount. This is a 30 millimeter tube, so I don't know how much lower low mount would have been. Probably not that much lower, but I went ahead and ordered medium, so I can't quite put my cheek down into the cheek well as far as I would like to. It has not given me any trouble shooting. I can shoot just fine with it. It's just it's not quite in the position that I like to be in. So just for FYI for anybody, if you have a 50 millimeter on a Tikka, you can get by with the low mount scope rings from Vortex if you go that route. Well, that said, the 6 to 18 by 44 Crossfire that we had bought way back earlier in the year is back at home on the 30-06 where it belongs. That's what it was bought for originally. The intent was always to shoot it on this one. I just went out and bought that 22-250 on a whim right after I had bought the scope for the 30-06 and did not have a scope to go on the 22-250 and didn't have the budget to buy a scope for the 22-250. So this scope had been on the Tikka for a year nearly. Well, finally, it's back at home on the 30-06 where it goes. We've got a lot of reloading that we're going to do right now. I've got a bunch of rounds made up for the 22-250. These are all 69 grain Sierra tipped Match Kings. that I've got set up for this one to shoot here. Also, 30-06. We got a bunch of rounds. These are all 168 grain Match Kings for the 30-06. I loaded all of these back at the beginning of the year, but way back in, I think, April, I loaded these rounds. Made a video to all of it, and never got around to shooting it. It got hot outside. I got busy. I just didn't get around to doing the shooting of it. And then, stupid me, for some unknown reason, I deleted all the videos off my phone where I loaded all these. So I had a bunch of nice loading content for all these videos, and I stupidly deleted them. But we've got all of these to shoot. There's several different powders here, several different powder charges. We got a bunch of them to shoot. I want to show you something interesting here before we move away from the main topic. My mom, my wife, and I bought my dad a rifle. He turned 60 this year, and we bought him a rifle. We bought him a BAR, a grade 2 from back in the 60s. I think it was made 69, the one we got for him. And I worked him up some loads for it. Well, as some of you probably know, Sierra came out with the Game Changer bullet earlier this year. I think it was back in the summer. And I bought some 165 game changers for him. And I was going to make a little short video series about the loading process for that BAR, developing the loads and everything for it. Well, as it turns out, the gun came in right before Thanksgiving. I went out, loaded up a bunch of loads for it, a bunch of test loads, loaded up some sighter loads to check it. It had a scope on it when it got to us. So finally, 2 weeks before Christmas, I got to go out there and actually shoot the gun, and discovered scope was trashed. So we had to scramble and order a scope. We got him a 4-12 by 40 Diamondback. Put on it. He loves it. He loves the gun, loves the scope. But I did not get the scope sighted in and didn't get the rounds developed before we gave it to him at Christmas. His birthday's 2 days after Christmas, so we just gave it to him as like a combo present. And he came up, we had Christmas with them early, and he came up on Christmas Eve, and we sighted his scope in, and we shot all the test rounds, and the gun absolutely loved the 165 Game Changers with a charge of 65 grains of H4831 SC. He didn't want me to put a whole lot of time and money into developing a load for it because he said he's probably not going to use it much. It's mostly going to sit in the gun cabinet. So I did this. I loaded him up 20 of those. So I had made a whole video about that, and that was the first attempt at making this video. I was going to incorporate that into it. And the content was just garbage. The scope, because the scope screwed up, was trashed, and then the video just went to crap after that. So gave up on that adventure. All right, one last thing. We got some brass finally for the 4570. Our old brass, we only had 20 rounds. Well, actually, we only had 18 rounds of brass for the 4570, which was irking me. So I went out and bought some Starline. Sportsman's Warehouse, local to me, had some Starline brass. They had a 50-pack for $31, which I know is a premium price for that Starline brass. It's way more than I should have paid, but you order from Starline, you got to buy, on 4570, you got to buy 250 rounds minimum of 4570 brass, and it's $120. I don't have a $120 budget to buy 250 rounds of brass for 4570. I don't need 250 rounds of brass for 4570. I piddle with it, but I don't shoot enough of it to need that much brass. So I bought a 50-round pack. I've already prepped them all. It's really nice brass. I deburred all the flash holes, trimmed them all, full length sized them, deburred and chamfered case mouse. They're ready to go. That's what's going on. That's what's about to happen. We got a lot of stuff to do. We got a lot of shooting to do. Going to have several videos coming out over the next couple of weeks of some shooting, some reloading on the 4570, and some new information. So I'm going to try to get the content ramped back up on the channel. So until then, y'all have a good one.